better get ready. Oh no.
Good afternoon and welcome back to Qadash Farm. Here, we believe preparation is the key to reparations. Well, today I want to talk to you about farm animals. The kind of animals that you need to protect your livestock from, the type of animals you want to protect yourself from, and just some of the animals you want to have around your farm or your homestead. Well, let's start with the easiest. Of course, you always want to have man's best friend. You want to have a dog on your property. Come on, girls. Oh. Not just any dog, right? If you're running cattle, you might want something like Australian Shepherd, some kind of Collie. And even if you got herds out there, maybe you want a great Pyrenees, right? You want some kind of larger dog that can protect from coyotes, big cats, small bears, you know. So Australian Shepherds, Collies, maybe a great Pyrenees. But a lot of people are into bullies, pit bulls, right? But I don't know if that's such a great farm dog, more so as a good pet. But you really want to think about getting the type of dog that can not only be a good friend, but also a good protector, right? So the other day, we was getting ready for church service, right? And we come outside, huge snake just crawling through the backyard. Had to dispose of the snake, right? But many people say, well, some snakes are good around the homestead. Well, if you move from the city, I don't think any snake is a good snake on the homestead or farm, especially those that attack my chickens, right? So we had to dispose of the reptile. But you want the type of dog that is gonna alert you when the coyotes are walking around the perimeter, or they're in the pasture, or snakes are slithering in the yard. You want a type of protective animal that's not gonna run from danger, but is gonna approach it and really alert you. You know, there's a bark that I'm hungry, and then there's a bark that someone's on the property, and then there's a bark that some kind of predator is on the property that could harm you. And you wanna think about that when you get or choose your dog for the homestead. It's nothing to say you can't have a dog for the inside the house, and you can have a dog that is outside walking the perimeter of your property. And speaking of that, if you're gonna have a dog roaming on your property and there are major roads around, you wanna make sure you have the proper fencing to keep your dog inside the property so that he doesn't get hit by oncoming cars, or that a neighbor won't mistake him for a wild dog and kill him. Let's look at another animal you might want on your farm. When we moved into our property, the people that lived there before had like 9 cats around the property. I mean, they had a whole carpet laid out, water, food, and you know, coming from the city, our mistake is that we weren't cat people, and we took away the food source and the protection for those cats. Now, mind you, they're still around the property, but they're not protecting around the home itself, because we removed the comfort, removed the food and the water for them. But think about this. Cats are good for taking care of small rodents, you know, mice, gophers, small snakes, things of that nature that you don't want around. I mean, cats may take care of that problem for you, right? So even if you're not a cat person, you can train cats to be in your barn and be in certain places on your property if you don't necessarily want them on your porch or around the house. But I mean, they're gonna go and they're gonna roam and they're gonna take care of problems you may not know you have. So even if you're not a cat person, really think about getting a cat. So now that we talked about cats and dogs, let's look at some other animals that you might want on your property. one that came to mind watching different YouTubers is you might want to have a donkey on your property, right? They are very protective of the animals on the property. They are very sound. They sound a very loud alarm, and they are very feisty, and they will fight off wild hogs and coyotes and things of that nature. Just to have a donkey or two on your pasture won't hurt at all, especially if you have horses or cattle out there. Because earlier this spring, right, when the weather was changing, we had some sounder of hogs. That's like a mother and her like 8 to 9 children with the male boar hog. They just came back by our pond and they were just rooting up everything, right? I haven't really seen them in the last few months, but I know if they were here, they may come back. So a good idea that I was shown is we might have put a donkey out in the pasture, something that will sound the alarm and let you know the intruders on the property, and they'll also run them off. You know, our horses right now, they just went to the other side of the pasture and let the hogs root up and have a good old time. So another good idea if you're gonna move to the farm or build a homestead is to put your mini donkey or a mule out there, something that can really sound the alarm and protect the herds for you. Now, another animal, you know, you're building a homestead and a farm, chickens. Chickens have become the easiest thing for us to maintain. We raised our flock of hens from babies all the way up to egg producing hens, and we've had them for more than a year now, and we had a couple roosters that were with them, so we have fertilized eggs, non-fertilized eggs, and the chickens have been the cheapest excuse me, and the easiest to maintain. The biggest expense was creating a hen house and a run for them, right? Can't have them out here really free ranging. We don't have a lot of trees, but we do have a lot of vultures, hawks, and eagles. Large birds just swooping around looking for easy pickings and easy prey that I know without having something out here to protect our hens, they might become easy prey. But chickens are a good source of protein. You have eggs. You also can raise meat birds. But they're a good, easy animal that you can put on your homestead, on your farm immediately to produce something that you and your family can use. Another animal you want to think about before you get to the big cattle, think about maybe getting a couple of goats or a couple of sheep. They are a good small animal that is very easy to raise, especially if you have a lot of land. They're low maintenance, but I mean, if you don't want to be out here on the tractor or on your zero turn cutting once or twice a week, right? Like right in spring when you're getting all that rain, I find myself constantly on the mower keeping the grass down so that, yes, creepy crawlers, you know, the family and the kids aren't playing and they step on something or can't see something crawling in the grass, so you got to maintain the level of your pastures and keep the grass low. But something that can help you is to put out a few sheep or goats, especially goats. So they get up high, they can clear small tree lines, and they will eat pretty much anything. Sheep are a little bit more selective, but those are two breeds of small flocks that you can start on your homestead or farm, and they will be great producers of meat. But also you can get a type of breed if you want milk. I know people are into goat milk, that you can pick whichever breed that you are comfortable with raising, to start your farm or your homestead. Well, today I just really wanted to talk to you about some small animals that you can put on your homestead or farm as you get going that will really give you confidence to keep going. And I hope this information has been helpful to you. Here outside at Qadash Farm, we always get our hands dirty because we understand that you don't get something for nothing and a closed mouth don't get fed. Listen, preparation is the key. If you prepare to have the things that you know you need to sustain life, you won't have to depend on anyone. So get outside, get your hands dirty. Think about, as they say, times are getting harder. You really need to think about consolidating, liquidating, and moving out of the cities where things are prepared and given to you, and get you a piece of land where you can start putting seed in the ground, put you some animals and some chickens out, and just prepare a different way for hard times. Well, until the next video, y'all bless.
You gotta get ready.